This is Janine with the Homeowners Association, offering guidance on a matter important to every household, family traditions, and the enthusiasm of our ancestors. In recent weeks, several families have reported unusual activity tied to their heritage practices. We remind everyone that traditions run deep in Wilbrooke. Sometimes they continue more actively than expected. One household described hearing footsteps in their attic late at night. When they investigated, they discovered photo albums laid neatly across the floor, pages already turned to images of smiling relatives long deceased. A portrait even lifted itself from the wall, floating gently before resettling at the head of the dining table. This is not cause for alarm. It is ancestral enthusiasm. Other residents noted that children in the home began reciting names in their sleep, names that did not match anyone in their immediate family. When asked the next day, the children claimed not to remember, though their smiles lingered longer than usual. This is not unusual. It is simply the past reminding the present of its role. At one gathering, a grandmother's sewing needles threaded themselves and stitched symbols into tablecloths without human hands. The family expressed unease, but their neighbors applauded politely, understanding that heritage often expresses itself through craft. We wish to remind households that ancestral presence is a gift, not a burden. Knocks against the walls, flickering lights, or whispered voices from the corners of rooms are not disruptions. They are reminders that your family tree is still growing, even when branches extend unseen. In one case, a resident reported that a figure appeared at the end of their hallway, smiling with unmistakable familiarity, though the person had been buried decades prior. The resident wisely nodded in acknowledgement before drawing their curtains. Courtesy is key in all family matters, even when ancestry insists on being seen. Diane has addressed these concerns directly. Her words, heard softly through the radios during last Sunday's pledge, were clear. You belong to those before you, and they belong to you. Harmony does not end at the grave. Some households worry about rituals repeating themselves across generations. For example, one family described their daughter carving shapes into wooden toys without instruction, shapes that match symbols found in attic carvings from years past. Others report waking to find bowls placed in perfect circles across the kitchen floor, filled with seeds or salt, though no one recalls arranging them. Such events should be considered acts of ancestral cooperation, not defiance. It is true that occasionally these practices escalate. Furniture may slide into new arrangements on its own, pictures may tilt or fly gently across the room, or neighbors may feel compelled to gather uninvited in your living room, smiling silently as though waiting for a cue. The HOA reminds you, accept these moments, do not interrupt. When the tradition concludes, everything will return to order. To those concerned about inheritance, we assure you, it is not simply material. Heritage is a living current. It flows through your home, your children, your rituals. Even if you do not remember the words, your voice will find them. One family attempted to deny their traditions, discarding heirlooms into the night. The next morning, those heirlooms were discovered carefully replaced on their mantel, polished, glowing faintly. Refusal is neither possible nor neighborly. Acceptance keeps the neighborhood strong. To summarize, objects moving on their own are ancestral enthusiasm. Generational rituals may surface without permission, but always with purpose. Heritage continues regardless of resistance. Diane watches and she approves. This concludes our advisory on family traditions and heritage concerns. Thank you for honoring your ancestry, residents. Harmony depends not only on who we are, but on who we have always been.